Hi, this is Jen Reefschneider with Woodfire Grill at the Kansas Star Casino, and today we're going to make some macaroons. Now macaroons are kind of one of those things where I think people might be a little bit afraid to make them at home, but once you learn some basic tips and tricks on how to do them, it's really not that difficult. The enemy of egg whites is fat, so even though your mixing bowl might be clean, there could still be some fat particles in there, so all I have is just a clean towel, and I've just dampened it with a little bit of vinegar. So I'm just going to wipe the inside of this bowl out just to make sure that there's no fat particles still hanging out inside of here. All right. So now I have my stand mixer all set up and ready to go. What we have is 3.5 ounces of egg whites. Be very careful when you're separating your eggs not to break the yolk and get any fat in there because it'll deflate your egg whites. And this is about 3 large egg whites. I'm going to go ahead and dump that in the mixer here. And we're going to start this on about medium speed until it starts to get nice and foamy in there. Once it gets foamy, we're going to add some cream of tartar, which basically just acts as a fat neutralizer, so it helps your meringue to get bigger, if you will. So once it starts to get foamy, we'll go ahead and sprinkle in that cream of tartar, and it just takes a pinch of it. So we're going to let this whip, and as it starts to build a little bit of volume, I've got 3 tablespoons of just regular granulated sugar, and we're going to slowly start sprinkling it in. If you go too fast, it'll kill your egg whites and it'll lose some volume. So be careful not to just dump it in. Go right nice and slow and just start gradually adding it in. Okay, now that my sugar is in, we can go ahead and increase the speed of your mixer to about medium-high. And we're going to whip this until it forms soft peaks. It'll take probably about 2 to 3 minutes to get there. We have 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 cup of almond flour, which you can find in the natural organic section of the grocery store. It is a little bit pricey, but it goes a really long ways. You can make quite a few macaroons with 1 bag of it. And then we have a little bit of salt and about 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder for our chocolate macaroons. If you don't want to make chocolate, you can replace the cocoa powder with just regular almond flour. So now our egg whites are getting close. I'm going to go ahead and check it. Just pull it out. So when it holds its shape like this, those are stiff peaks. So these are ready to go. Now if you over whip it, your egg whites will start to get dry. And if that happens, you'll just have to start over again with fresh whites. So now just grab a rubber spatula, and we're going to do about 3 batches of adding our flour into our egg whites here. Once the first batch gets almost incorporated, you can go ahead and add a little bit more to it. Okay, and we'll go ahead and add the very last of our dry ingredients. So now what I have is something that sort of resembles a nice cake batter here. So once we have that done, we're going to put it into a piping bag. Now, I always have trouble with getting the piping bag all messy, so a nice trick, put your piping tip on, and I just have a big measuring cup. So I just fold the bag right over top of that measuring cup, push it in there. That way I can use both hands to get everything inside the bag there. Now I can fold it all over, and I don't have anything on the outside. Everything stays nice and clean inside the bag. And spread a little bit. So just really nice and gently, even pressure on it. Pipe them out into about 1-inch circles. Okay, now that we have our pan filled up, so at this point, this is a very important step. They need to sit and dry for about 20 to 30 minutes. The top, it'll form a nice little skin. They'll get really nice and smooth and glossy on top. If you notice that there's any peaks sticking up, you didn't mix your batter long enough, so you can go ahead and scoop it off of the parchment paper and mix it just a little bit more and go ahead and repipe it. Once they've rested, They'll go in the oven at 325, bake them for about 9 minutes, rotate the pans, and then bake them for another 9 minutes at 325, and then set them off to cool. So that's what we have here. So your cookies, they should have a nice little edge on them. This is called the foot. That's probably the most difficult thing, is to get a proper foot on your cookies. But if you follow the directions and make sure that you have a properly mixed batter, you shouldn't have any problems with that at all. So at this point, we can go ahead and fill them. What I have here is an orange chocolate ganache. So I've just flavored some chocolate ganache with some orange liqueur and orange zest. Probably one of my favorite combinations is chocolate and orange. If you don't like that, then you can put whatever flavored liqueur that you want in it. Also, buttercreams are really good to fill them with. As long as there's something, or it doesn't have a lot of moisture in it, you can fill the macaroons with it. So a lot of jams are really good, frostings, and stuff like that. If there's too much moisture, they'll get really soggy and sog out. So all I'm going to do is flip over the cookies, and I'm just going to pipe just a little bit of filling inside of them. It doesn't take very much, because once you put the top on it, it'll kind of squish out to the edges. So once you have those on there, then we're just going to grab another one and just kind of press it down until that filling goes right to the edge of the cookie. Okay, and at this point, they're best if they're left to rest for about a day. So here we have our chocolate macaroons with our orange and chocolate ganache filling. Once you learn the technique, pretty much all the flavors are limitless. You can put anything in them that you want. And it's just such a versatile cookie. They're fun to do. They hold really well in the freezer, so you can make a big batch, put them in the freezer, and let them sit until you have a party or whenever. Pull them out, let them thaw out before you serve them, and let everyone enjoy.